Thank you for returning back to my channel. Um, I'm just starting to do this, so you have to excuse the cutoffs. But I was saying how the um, the dreams that you would have as a child just was not encouraged at all, because you were always told at all the meetings that the world was going to end, and there was no need for higher education. Um, that you only thing that you had to really look forward to is the destruction of the wicked one, and unless you were a Jehovah's Witness, you were going to be destroyed. And so, if you knew you wasn't really interested in their teachings, deep inside, you knew that you felt like you was a wicked person, and that you was going to be destroyed anyway. And that's how I really did feel. And so as I started dating around, and as a teenager, uh, became uh, involved in sexual activities, and when you sneaking around, you don't go for any kind of protection or whatever. I ended up getting pregnant, and at an early age, and ended up the when I got pregnant, like at the age of like 15, ended up losing the child, and after that, I had to end up talking to like three elders or whatever, because once you have sex or whatever before you get married, you have to go in front of a committee of like three men, and so because I had already lost the child and everything, they just basically told me that I had already um, murdered, and that I was going to end up, I may, if I didn't repent, and if I did repent, Jehovah may or may not destroy me. So I didn't really have no the good faith that he would want to save me, because up until then he hadn't really answered any prayers. I hadn't even really felt no kind of protection or love from him or anybody else. So I was just really not feeling it. But I still lived in my mom's house, and so she said that if we lived in her house, we had to go to the meetings, and we had to um, kind of act like we liked it. But so that's what we did. I just faked it, and then kept on moving on in school, feeling like you couldn't really go to any of the games, and just feeling like you just wasn't really a part of the school activities or people at school. You didn't feel like you really fit in with the people in the organizations. It's just like you just walked around life, and just waited, kind of waited for the world to end, and waited to be destroyed. But so I ended up finding somebody, a guy who, you know, uh, went on and snuck around with me, and eventually getting pregnant again. And that time, I ended up getting married at the age of 17, because my mom signed the paperwork for me to get married. That's what you needed to do if you got pregnant. You needed to get married, and as a matter of fact, when you like 17 or 18, that's what you if you didn't you education wasn't really uh, um, pushed or encouraged. So you look for a husband or a man or somebody to team up with to just try to make it, make your bills or whatever. So uh, she knew he was going to the military, even though he wasn't a part of the organization. They for some reason it was kind of accepted. I guess I had already messed up my life and had a baby and everything out of wedlock. So she just went on and signed the papers for me to get married to him. And but he wasn't anything but like a year older, so it wasn't like he was somebody that was too old and whatever. So I thought I could deal with that. So I married him, and we moved overseas. And I was so happy to finally get away from the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I really didn't want to be a part of it. But they started knocking on the door, and they don't bother they didn't bother the military men because they knew that they were in the military, and they know Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in military services. So when they're in the military, they're not going to try to encourage them to get into the organization. But they kept asking for his wife, and so I kept on being so scared. And I told him, I said, "Do not tell these people that I'm at home." So we put him on for a little while, but I was having another baby, and by the time I went into the hospital and had the baby, by the time I came back out, my husband informed me that they were going to come and have a Bible study with me, even though I told him that I wasn't interested in it. But for some reason, even though he wasn't in it, he wanted me to be in it, and he wanted me to raise the children in it. So, feeling pressured and nervous, I just went on and let him start coming in and studying again. And once I called back home and told my mom and my other sisters who was a part of the organization that I was now studying, they were all happy. And basically, like, you get pressured into being a part of it so you can really feel accepted. But on the other hand, you know that if you ever get in it and you really get baptized, if you don't want to be in it, you will be shunned if you ever try to change your mind. It was like you couldn't change your mind. Once you got in it, you had to stay in it. And so I had witnessed my one of my two of my older sisters get in the organization and not be able to stay in it. And once they got disfellowshipped, they for one of them got disfellowship for going to church